Cities of Aiken and North Augusta say they have not started service interruptions again. North Augusta says they will start again July 7th, but Aiken has not set a date yet. We also checked with Augusta, but we have not heard back from them yet.
Some big announcements coming out of Governor Brian Kemp's weekly news conference today. First of all, Georgia bars and nightclubs can reopen Monday.
Comes with a lot of caveats, about 39 of them. They have a lot of requirements before they are allowed to reopen, but the governor outlines a few of them here. Take a listen.
They include screening workers for illness, limiting the number of people in the building to 25 people or 35% of total occupancy, requiring the facility to be thoroughly and regularly sanitized, only serving drinks to seated patrons or those in designated areas, limiting party size to 6 people, and preventing patrons from congregating.
Also starting Monday, the governor is allowing gatherings of 25 people as long as social distancing is followed. He also extended the public health emergency through July the 12th. Much more news ahead after we have a live look outside Walton Way on a nice-looking afternoon. Chief Meteorologist Riley Hill joining us now. Riley, it's good to see a little bit of blue sky for a change.
Definitely, Richard. Rain has not been too widespread so far today. We've actually just remained fairly isolated. We had a strong storm up in the northern CS area, but most of us are currently dry. Let's go to Doppler Max radar and check out that one storm up in the northern end of Clarksville Lake. Far northern McCormick County near Mount Carmel, we are tracking some heavy rain. There was some lightning with this cell as well, as it did move on through. But as that moves east, the rest of us looking fairly dry. Not much out there currently. And it looks like rain changes should stay fairly isolated the rest of this evening. And then into the overnight throughout early Friday, we'll keep the chance for just a spotty shower. But the higher rain chances, storm chances are going to head our way Friday afternoon, Friday night, as a cold front does head our way from the west. And that's going to keep us pretty sticky again tomorrow. We'll have more on that full forecast coming up.
Sticky day out there, Riley. Thanks. So many of us are aching for sports to come back, and now we're learning what it will take for high school sports to return.
Some of the guidelines are pretty strict. Mike Yakachonis breaks it down for us.
At long last, we have answers from the SCHSL about a return date after the GHSA released their plan last week. Now, both plans have similarities, but the biggest difference between the two is the actual date for return. In Georgia, GHSA member schools can return to limited activity, which includes weightlifting and conditioning, on June 8th. SCHSL member schools can return when their individual districts allow summer learning on site. That means there needs to be summer school in order for there to be athletic gatherings. That's the first contingency in order for member schools to begin phase 1, which only allows for up to 10 people per facility at a time, including coaches, players, and other staff. Masks will be required where, quote, the covering is not inhibitory. Football helmets will also not be allowed, and balls cannot be used until 2 weeks of workouts have begun. No locker rooms or showers can be used at a facility. Georgia, by comparison, shares the locker room restrictions, but does not require masks and allows up to 20 coaches, players, and staff at a time. It also does not require schools to have summer learning on site in order to start. As of right now, Aiken County does not plan to have on-site learning over the summer, which means phase 1 of the return to sports cannot be implemented. Edgefield County usually does not have in-person summer school at the high school level and faces the same issue. I'm working on putting together a comparative list between the two, and that'll be posted on our website shortly. I'm also reaching out to the coaches and athletic directors who this is affecting the most. Richard, Laura, back to you.
All right, Mike, thanks. Lots of big changes for our sports teams. We're now learning 2 people had died after an early morning crash this morning in Aiken. It happened here on Williston Road at Independent Boulevard. 19-year-old DeBron Fulton from Rennes and 46-year-old Jesse Kent from New Allenton were involved in a head-on crash. Fulton died on the scene. Kent was taken to AU Medical, where he later died. We're learning Kent was a candidate for the New Allenton City Council.
Our I-team is investigating new claims and concerns about the coronavirus outbreak at Doctors Hospital. We first told you about that yesterday when the hospital confirmed 9 employees tested positive. A nurse tells our I-team's Meredith Anderson things could be worse than the hospital is letting on.
Much worse, she says, especially now that word has gotten out. So I took those new concerns to hospital administration, and they did answer our new questions. A source sharing this email with the I-team that went to staff Wednesday, directly referencing media and social media coverage and how the hospital is at the beginning stages of rebuilding our community's trust that Doctors Hospital is a safe place to seek care. But a nurse tells the I-team she doesn't feel safe.
Talking to them didn't work, asking them questions didn't work. Look, how are we going to get these people to listen to us? How are we going to get answers? It's what we deserve, it's what the community deserves.
She asked that we disguise her voice and not use her name out of fear of losing her job. But she says she also fears this statement isn't entirely accurate, starting with how the outbreak started. The hospital described an ER patient with no signs or symptoms of COVID-19, but while being treated, the patient began to show symptoms.
Patient had shortness of breath since they arrived, and the nurses were on the floor, on the first floor, trying to get the patient tested. And it took multiple tries with the doctor before they agreed.
She worries that delay wasted time and exposed a lot of people to the virus.
And when they did agree, the patient was transferred to another floor and died 4 hours later.
In the meantime, she believes staff weren't the only ones infected.
So all the patients got tested. 2 more patients came up positive. They got switched to another floor.
We asked Doctors Hospital about this, and in a statement today, a spokesman tells the I-team, as of this moment, nobody that interacted with the patient in the ER has tested positive for COVID-19. When it comes to how 9 staff members became infected, the hospital told our I-team there is no way to know if they acquired the virus at work or in the community.
Not every nurse or tech or staff member or secretary on that floor went to the same gym or the same grocery store. But they didn't all go to the same hospital or the same floor and work the same shift. It's the only logical conclusion that they got it there.
Today, Doctors Hospital also told the I-team, to be safe, we tested every person in our 3 East unit, even if they didn't have contact with the patient, adding, no employee is allowed to work if they show symptoms of COVID-19. But a nurse believes some employees have been at work before knowing for sure they were safe.
As of Sunday, there were still nurses working who had got tested or didn't have the result.
Meanwhile, comments on my Facebook page continue to be in support of the hospital, adding, our leaders have done a great job at communicating with us during COVID. Some even saying, look at the media, trying their best to instill fear in the community. No fear, just trying to get all sides as we all navigate this new normal. Reporting for the I-team, Meredith Anderson, on your side.
So let's check the positive cases now report.
Crews out at Evans Town Center Park today working to get it all set up for Columbia County High School graduations. So if you're planning on going to the park this weekend, keep this in mind. The first graduations are tomorrow. Harlem is at 4:30, Greenbrier at 7:30. Then Saturday there will be 3 more, which will take up the park for most of the day. Also keep in mind, if it rains, that rain date will be Sunday instead of Saturday.
Still to come, 2 men charged in a woman's death, but they are not.
Are hearing from the family of the woman who was found dead in Jackson. These 2 men are charged in her death, but they are not facing murder charges. Sydney Heiberger explains why and also hears from the family of Tiffany Odom.
Tiffany's family tells me the 26-year-old's life was anything but easy. They say battling schizoaffective disorder, the death of her former fiance, and a series of abusive relationships left her feeling tortured. Now they say they find comfort in knowing that Tiffany is at peace, but they want justice.
My chest would just be hurting, praying the whole time that she would be found safe.
For 6 weeks, it was torture for the Odom family, not knowing where the oldest of 3 sisters was.
I feel like that the police was doing everything they could do to try to find Tiffany.
But those 6 weeks in a field in Jackson, South Carolina, makes solving this case even more challenging.
Her body was out there for so long, and the person that did the autopsy said they didn't have much to work with.
We still don't know how Tiffany died, and investigators have not charged anyone with murder, but her family believes there's more to this story.
I hope everything will come out. I pray to God that justice is going to be served.
Tiffany's long-term boyfriend and father to her 2-year-old child is charged with concealing her body. The 50-year-old is also charged for allegedly taking Tiffany's phone and using it to text himself in order to, quote, deceive authorities. Tiffany's mom says she received this text message from Harry on April 18th, a message saying Tiffany had texted him, but April 18th would have been 2 weeks after Tiffany reportedly died.
He was texting himself from her phone, and then he was forwarding the text.
For the Odoms, every answer seems to just raise more questions.
She went through so much the past couple years.
But they say they find comfort in knowing Tiffany is at peace.
She didn't belong on this earth. She was suffering.
Tiffany's family tells me they're still waiting on a toxicology report to come back to help determine the cause of death. They say that could take several months. In Augusta, Sydney Heiberger on your side.
Now, both men are still sitting in the Richmond County Detention Center. We are working to find out when their first court appearance will be.
If you have to step out this evening, we're expecting warm and humid temperatures in the 70s most of tonight.